Attack of the Clones is better than Rise of Skywalker.
Folks, I accidentally hit the pause button. Welcome back to our podcast about Rise of Skywalker and the destruction of the Jedi. So as I was saying, in Civil War, the movie sets up that it's going to be like that, these movies always work that like, oh, the two heroes who are fighting come together to defeat the real big bad guy. But it is one of the best Marvel movies, in my opinion, in that it does the very smart thing to pit them against each other but raises the stakes in a more personal and character-driven way. Like, the fight is only between, like, it's smaller in scope, but it greater in character intensity because of the personal twist that has been added to this moment. And when it was wholly telegraphing that it was going to like have like lead to a third act reconciliation, like a la Batman versus Superman, and Civil War doubles down on the personal conflict that was underlying the whole movie, and because of that it succeeds and is, again, I think one of the best Marvel Studios movies.
Yes.
I'd say. And it just, man, I'm just gonna watch the trailer and just, what's bad? I think I like the trailer.
I think the final trailer
I want to see the
Rise of Skywalker is showing a movie that I wish I saw, because what I saw use sentences to explain away, like, okay, can we talk about the Holdo maneuver? I don't know if we talked about that yet.
We didn't, because this is not a Last Jedi podcast. This is
the Holdo maneuver is mentioned in this movie, The Rise of Skywalker. When they're talking about what they're going to do to attack the radar station to keep the Star Destroyers from, going up, and that's a whole other problem in and of itself. Yeah, they're talking about the attacker on...
Sir, which direction do we go?
We might crash into each other, like, just flow up. Just flow up. You're already almost there. Break through the clouds.
Max thrusters forward. Fire all weapons.
They accidentally start shooting weapons, but they just need to
launch all escape pods.
Like, what happens if you just turned on your own thrusters to go? Anyways, they're talking about attacking the radar station, because without it, the Star Destroyers literally can't go up and out of the clouds. I wish I was making this up. This movie really is that bad. Everyone that's defending this movie, remember this plot point. The Star Destroyers can't go up. And someone brings up, well, what about if we use the Holdo maneuver? We take one of our fighters and we put it on autopilot and slam into it. And at that point, I swear to you, in the theater, I was like, there we go. They're addressing it. Thank you. Okay, what's your answer? And Post says, no, that was a 1 in a million shot. We could never try something like that ever again. Like, why? Why not?
I love the paranoia that they feel like they need to go and answer for that.
I mean, that is a good question, in my opinion. It does make all space battles useless if that's an option. If you could just light speed slam into anything, why wouldn't you? And in this case, they don't really give an answer either. Poe says, we can't do it because it's a 1 in a million shot. Oh, I'm sorry. Did your 50 light starfighters versus 1,000 Star Destroyers? That's still the better idea? Alright, go with that one. No, please.
Sir, which way is up? I don't know. Let's crash into the other Star Destroyer since we don't know what to do. Like, movies suck when any tension is created by characters being dumb or the bad guys having like a dumb thing or a plan. And movies are good when characters do smart things and bad guys act smart.
Yeah, if the bad guys outwit them, that's fine.
Yeah. And it's like an infuriating like rom-com thing where people just like won't communicate with each other, and there's just all the conflict is based on some dumb misunderstanding because people won't speak fucking English.
I'm gonna bleep a lot.
Yeah, you should. I'm sorry. We're in part 2, folks. This is post break. We're loosey goosey. I've refilled my bourbon. God, I'm so sad Raylo didn't happen. It was just
Raylo did happen. Raylo happened for a solid 30 seconds.
No, it
that's
didn't.
all you get.
I refuse to acknowledge. We do not acknowledge. We do not respect the authority.
She gave him tongue. She was digging deep into that face.
See, because Ben Solo is a baby, and Rey is like, "Let me jump on the bones," and Ben's like, "No, I'm a baby and evil," and so Rey's like, "Okay, so I'll make you good, and then we'll do it."
You are really digging deep into Raylo.
It's just,
don't get me wrong. I wish TLJ ended with both of them becoming gray Jedi and destroying the First Order, but also destroying the Resistance together. And they're just like, the universe is better when you two factions aren't fighting each other. And now they've been like, this is the best Star Wars stories ever.
Ah, the radical centrists have
yes, exactly.
Over. By the power of math.
Because I don't know who the Resistance is resisting when the Republic is in power, but
that's another thing. It feels like they just again, just a problem with the sequel trilogy in general. It's just they're like, oh yeah, remember the ending of the Return of the Jedi where you felt like there was going to be a new Republic? It's actually not. There's a Resistance now. I'm like, wait, Resistance feels like that they're an opposition party that is a minority.
No, there is a Republic. Starkiller Base destroys all the Republic with one.
But we don't know the Republic.
Oh yeah,
we don't know them.
We never learn about it, but it's there.
Just, and then it's like, oh, it's actually in the book. Okay, I'm too busy reading Destiny lore to read Star Wars lore, okay? How dare you?
I love how you added that as excuse you.
How dare you would assume that I would stop reading good lore and to read bad lore?
No, they do mention it in The Force Awakens. They do say that Starkiller Base is going to destroy the Republic, and the 5 planets it destroys is the Republic. And so the Resistance is left, but the Resistance existed before the Republic, so that's why I asked the question, what are you resisting? The faction that you're for is in power. The First Order, and I've said this to so many of my friends, the First Order is a bunch of neo-Nazis that somehow acquire 10,000 nuclear weapons without anyone noticing.
This darn centrists just really just...
Not only that,
society a hell in a handbasket.
Not only that, but the neo-Nazis got so powerful they destroyed the entirety of the UN, all of it, and the only faction left is just the South, like the United States, the southern half of the United States. That's the Resistance.
It's taking all of my willpower to not turn this into a post-debate podcast as opposed to we're talking about Star Wars. We love Star Wars, folks. We hate Star Wars because
I really do love some new aspects of Star Wars. I loved Rogue One. I thought that's an excellent movie. I love The Mandalorian. I think that's some of the best TV watching this season.
I like that Baby Yoda. Bad Baby Yoda's real cute. I love it when he takes the knob off the little handle. He's like, yeah, give me that shit. I'm Baby Yoda. It's so cute. I love it. I would kill 1,000 porgs to feed Baby Yoda.
I'll just kill 1,000 porgs without you asking.
I would kill 1,000 porgs and put them in a blender to feed Baby Yoda. I
have a newfound respect for The Force Awakens after watching the 2 movies after it. I now see The Force Awakens as extremely competent.
I would kill Baby Groot to build a fire with which to keep Baby Yoda warm.
Yes. Wait, Baby Groot or Teenage Groot? Which one are we talking? Okay.
Baby Groot. Well, Teenage Groot, so there's enough wood to keep Baby Yoda warm.
That's perfectly fine. Teenage Groot can, get burned.
I also want to... I have a direct quote for you that just makes me cry. This is now the reading Reddit thread.
Oh, you're reading reactions?
Maybe this should be a part 1, part 2 podcast, because I don't know how this long it'll go. I said your parents were nobodies, Ray, but I never said I never said your grandparents were.
That's sadly true.
It sucks.
Yeah.
It sucks so hard. It's
You know who you are? You're
bleep.
nobody. You have no place in the story, except the entire story revolves around you.
Do you, like it really can be, you know, it really can be summarized as easily as this. Emperor Palpatine fucked, and Ben Solo didn't. That's it.
I think I mentioned to you this before.
That's it.
We are in.
That is it.
No.
There's nothing else to say.
I disagree with that on one condition. Because they never showed or discussed Emperor Palpatine ever having sex, you could just safely assume everyone in the Star Wars universe has had sex. And has a child somewhere. Ben Solo has a child somewhere. Prove me wrong. Do it.
He's a baby.
Do it.
He's a baby. No, Ben Solo has never had sex.
Emperor Palpatine has never had sex. I will...
That
I
is
don't
not
care what
true.
movie
He
I
had a
just
son.
saw. I refuse to believe it.
I will clap the cheeks
Oh,
to destroy
no!
the Jedi.
Oh no! This cheap clapping machine is
Joy.
fully operational and prepared to fire.
This machine with which we shall clap cheeks is fully armed and operational.
No!
Your friends are none the wiser.
I think our mutual friend Matt said that the biggest crime this movie committed was him having the visual of Emperor Palpatine having sex now.
Emergency powers. I am the Senate of having
Is that his
sex.
pickup line? Are they ever going to talk about, like, his wife or, like, the children that he sired, or are we just going to...
Just like at a bar on Coruscant, we're like, man, some young woman's like, fuck this Senate, and he just turns and says, I am
this. That's good. That's
so
good.
sorry.
I'm going to mark this as the explicit one. Like...
Yeah, that seems fair. Also, I posted that tweet earlier and nobody
Wait,
liked
which
it.
tweet?
That makes me sad. Execute Order 69. No one's liked it.
Okay, first of
I mean,
all...
all of my tweets are bad. I really just assume that 100% of my followers have me muted, so I'm just shouting into the void, which is what I use Twitter for. Anyway.
If you don't follow the Twitter account Emo Kylo Ren, you are missing comedy gold, by the way.
It's
Actually, the thing I said about letting the past die, I might have been a little hasty.
just...
It's true, though. He says, let the past die, and then Rise of Skywalker is nothing but digging up the past. Heck, he reforges his old helmet in his symbology of letting the past die.
Yep. Okay. Again, this is the Mike is reading the Reddit thread part. Someone says, what the F was that last scene with Lando? And I was like, that is really funny because
Oh, yeah,
he's
he hits
like,
on that young
there's-
girl.
there's a here's another thing this movie whiffs on. There's a whole setup, like Finn's whole character is that he used to be a stormtrooper and deserted. And you know what happens to all the First Order who's presumably staffing all of these ships in the Final Order? They get fucking stranded. The movie doesn't care about them. And it's like, isn't there a great evolution of Finn's character arc? Okay, he's not a stormtrooper. He's part of the Resistance. He understands that he can't just like stupidly throw away his life for like a suicide mission when, you know, we win by keeping people. We win by saving.
Gosh,
what
I
we
hate
love.
that line so much.
That's
not how wars are fought. That's not how any war in the history of ever is fought.
I love it.
Also, Ray coming out of, not Ray, but Rose Tico coming out of nowhere to slam into his ship. Oh, that's such bad cinematography.
Ray, this is not a Last Jedi
You're right.
podcast. Shut up.
Ray, shut up.
But like, wouldn't the perfect culmination of Finn's arc? He has no arc in this movie.
Not even a little bit.
Wouldn't Finn's arc, like the perfect culmination of it, be? Wouldn't it be the liberation of all of the, like, conscripted members of the First Order?
Yeah.
Led by him and the other.
Otherwise, he spends most of the movie
like,
just gunning them down in cold blood.
Yeah, exactly.
He's gunning down his brothers and sisters.
Like, that is the perfect culmination of his character arc from, like, you know. Like, it's just, there's so many, like.
You think Finn would, like, at some point struggle with the thought that he has to shoot people that he used to know and care about and work with?
People that he knows are people who are indoctrinated and have been taken from their families. Like, that is who makes up the First Order. So that's who makes up the First Order these days. Are people who are indoctrinated and within this, like, that is the culmination of his arc, and they're just not interested in engaging in that at all. It's just, Ray, I'm so sad. I'm so sad.
I'm sad that Finn.
Oh, but okay, now I remember why we were talking about this. Sorry, I'm like kind of drunk now. So if so at the end of this movie, Lando is talking to I like this character, but I can't remember her name right now. She was
I think they mentioned her name once, and I didn't care.
Is it like Jano? Hold on, I have to look it up to feel good. Da 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 yeah da 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 ba da da ba da ba 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 da bum ba da. I'm almost there, I swear. Jana. So Jana and Lando share a scene at the end where Jana's like, I was taken from my family.
Yep.
And Lando was like,
where you from?
Need some help with it? Where you from? And like his delivery, it's like, it should be like a tender, sweet moment of like, we should rebuild, like, we will help these people, these like stormtroopers find their home. Like, these are people who need to be like reunited.
Yeah.
And like the delivery on that line is just like, hey, how about we do something, and if it feels weird, we'll know it's not right. He's
like, let's find out together. And she like smiles and nods at him. And yeah, then the scene, it transitions, and you're like, did he just make a pass at her? And she's like consenting to this pass? What is?
I'm just like, dang.
Movie, what is wrong with you? You want to constantly ask the movie, like, what is going on? Who said yes to this?
Well, like, okay, here's one thing this movie got right. It didn't imply that Lando was her father or Finn's father.
I thought that was going to happen.
Because
I got scared.
Because it's like, uh-oh, there's two black people in Star Wars. They must be related. It's like, uh-oh. Oh, okay, we're good. Never mind.
I mean, the two black people that you do see in these scenes just happen to be First Order stormtroopers. Make of that what you will. Just throwing that out there. Mike's shaking his head.
Yeah. Bold of 3PO to claim R2 couldn't and possibly have a backup of his memory because R2 units are notorious for losing memory data when R2 has held on to Leia's message for 30 years and Luke's location for 10.
Yeah.
Reddit user, it's a departure.
He's got a point. He's got an excellent point. Like, in two separate movies, they prove that R2 has a very reliable memory unit. Are you actually, like, looking for plot holes for The Rise of Skywalker? Because we will literally be here for 8 hours. The movie is just nothing but plot holes held together with gum and a prayer.
plot hole implies like accidental.
That's so damning.
I intended to be because they had like an interesting story interesting, challenging. It's hard to tell the story and to sell it.
Yeah.
But they just aren't interested in doing that. And like that's fine, but I also think that it sucks. So that's the deal we make. That's fine. That's it. That's just how it goes.
Would you
tell a bad story? Like, if you're okay telling a subpar story, you have to be okay with me telling you that it sucks.
Are you?
It's bad.
Would you have preferred that Rey had no parents and we just carried on from there?
Yes.
I actually am with you. I was ready to accept that as a reason. Like she's not a Skywalker. She's not a Kenobi. She for damn sure ain't a Palpatine. That was never an option. I never even explored that as an option.
Again, like I mentioned it earlier, but again, it squares it in an interesting way where it's like, well, the thing she always thought she wanted is impossible to acquire. So what does she do now? That is interesting. Like, and even it, okay, again, like, even if like there is a good story nugget of like her being presented a familial connection and then rejecting that in choosing like her newfound friends and family, but like with how like slapdash it is having like putting Palpatine in this movie is,
gosh, think about like that decision and think about who he had to talk to greenlight that decision. Maybe no one. Maybe nobody cared.
It's really like these movies really put into perspective like there are a lot. Marvel sucks at a lot of stuff.
Sure.
There's a lot of things at the Marvel movies that are not good. Like I watch a Black Widow trailer and see that Taskmaster just looks like a military dude. I'm like, no, put him in his little comic costume with like the hood and the skull face. Come on.
He had a skull face on in that trailer. How dare you?
Like, don't just put him in a motorcycle helmet. Come on, do something cool. Like, just be dope with it. Come on, like, just go whole hog. That's the best. That's where you guys are really good at it. And
I do appreciate that Captain America's helmet did not have actual winglings on it. It didn't need that.
Winglings. I forget what I was saying. Entirely.
No, we were talking about how, or you were saying like how Marvel sucks at a lot of different things. Actually, so what I was trying to get at was, I'm pretty sure what had happened was J.J. Abrams was whiteboarding, or at least I hope he was, like what the actual story outline would be. He's like, and Palpatine is gonna be here in the movie. By the way, Rey is a Palpatine and is Palpatine's granddaughter. And no one said, or at least not enough people said no to this. And when someone asked, we saw Palpatine die, how are you going to bring him back? He says, not a problem. I won't bring it up. And then
don't ask, don't tell.
Yeah, if you don't call it too much attention to it, the audience will just forget it. And it's like, you can't. It's at the forefront of my mind the entire time because it's a ridiculous concept.
Like, it's a real, like I hate it when, I don't like it when people are say, like, oh, just turn off your brain and then you'll enjoy this. It's like, pretend, so just throw out all the windows of good storytelling and, like, enjoyable payoffs, and then I can enjoy garbage. Like, turn off all my taste buds and mud tastes just fine. Like,
I'm glad you said mud.
Thank you. I try.
I know. Yes, of course.
Ray.
If once again, I think I said this to you earlier. If I was 10, I'd have loved this movie because it's a visual spectacle. But the moment you start trying to understand it is the moment the movie falls apart completely. And someone I was talking to said the movie's just simply not made for me. It's made for 10-year-olds. Like,
Yeah,
it's made for kids across the world.
That's the kind of ultimate step here. I guess it's just like that's the kind of like final acknowledgement. It's like, oh, we're not really interested in telling a challenging story or like doing anything interesting. And it's like, I mean, I guess like, just like mask off with it. Like, don't pretend this is like you're interested in doing anything. Like, I'm sorry I I was tricked by like the interesting ideas and themes that work in a film like The Last Jedi. I'm sorry I fell for that, I guess. Like, if you are just interested in making like boilerplate mush,
toy movies, movies meant to sell
like,
toys,
like masquerading as like film, that's fine. You can do that. Like, it's like 12:30. We shouldn't go too much later, but like,
one of the stormtroopers is red, Mike. I want to bring that to your attention. It's literally just a regular stormtrooper, but they're red.
Do you remember just a couple days ago there was the Martin Scorsese like Marvel movie discourse?
Yeah,
where he compared them to like he's like they're not film, they're theme park rides.
I agree with that though. Like, he's not wrong.
I mean, yeah, like I agree with that too. Like, how I agree with that is like, yeah, I agree with that, but I think like a theme park ride can be like entertaining and interesting art.
Yeah.
Like, I think just because something is in like a blockbuster type genre doesn't mean you just like you don't have to. It doesn't mean that you are incapable, like fundamentally incapable of doing interesting character stories or conveying interesting themes. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't mean you can't do that on a fundamental level.
Right.
It's harder to do that in that genre, but it doesn't mean you can't do it. This movie, I think, like, even some of the Marvel movies, like, I feel like this movie feels like a theme park attraction.
Oh, definitely. This is just fun for the sake of fun.
It's bald-faced uninterest in engaging with any deeper ideas that were like
complete with Lich King Palpatine
set up by The Last Jedi. It just pivots to the easiest, like most butts and seats type of storytelling that is like, she kills Palpatine. How do we know this doesn't happen? And then, like, what happens 20 years from now? There's no like fundamental reckoning with like what created the First Order in the first place. Why is it so different now?
Palpatine said he created the First Order.
There's nothing there. They do nothing with it.
And the First Order. And I've been speaking in your head.
Like, we're told it's the end because they say it is, and they do nothing in the text to explain why it's any different than anything else, because it's the exact same thing.
So you're saying there's no setup for the ultimate ending? Or there's no payoff for the ultimate ending?
Exactly, because it's like, by everything I'm seeing in the movie, there's no implication that we won't be back here in another 20 years.
Supposedly Disney wants to go ahead and make a 10, 11, 12. And I just wonder why at this point. Like, the series stopped at 6 in my head. This is just extra. It's extra that's worth ignoring. I wasn't saying that before, but now after seeing the end of this just last night, like, yeah, the rest of it's worth ignoring.
I think it feels like this movie is a lot like, also because we podcasted about it specifically, but a lot of this kind of reminds me about Game of Thrones season 8, where like, I think the pure production of the show, like the acting, like the set work, the crew, like all of that stuff is uniquely great, but it is completely damned by the larger big picture storytelling decisions.
Yes.
Like, I like the acting of Nicholas, the guy who played Jaime Lannister, but I just personally think that the decision to have him just die in the arms of Cersei is a complete and utter betrayal of all of the change in his character.
Well, before we
Just
go into
a
more
fundamental
Game
misunderstanding of anything that made that character engaging.
Before we
It
go into
feels like-
that, we should wrap up here.
We should turn this. We should stop this. This is the rise of. This is Creed got robbed. This is Raylo got robbed. That's what this podcast.
No,
is.
hell, screw you. Ben Solo got robbed. Oh my gosh, no, Ray.
Ray got robbed.
Ray made out like
Ray
a
got robbed
bandit.
of her man. She's now just bare. I guess just lives on Tatooine alone, presumably.
Whatever. Ray can have literally anyone she wants, and she could just mind trick them into doing it. I guess. I don't know.
I don't think it works like that. I don't think she would do that.
She probably wouldn't do.
She's too good.
She's Jesus incarnate as a Jedi. She can do no wrong.
I'm so tired. Why did they make it so bad instead of good?
Why did they make it?
Why did they look at the make? Why did they make it look at the make movie good script?
I'm
and make
tweeting
movie
that
bad
right now.
script and say make movie bad. Let's do that one. Why don't we just do that one? Why did they do that, Ray?
At Mook Jones.
Tell me.
Why
Tell
did they
me-
make the movie bad?
Why did they make it bad when it could have been good? I understand it is hard to make movies good. I understand that. But the things that the vehicle with which they had to make it good is right in front of them. It is right there. And they just are just saying, no, I don't want it to be good. I want it to be bad. And they do it. And it's...
It almost does seem like J.J. Abrams did this on purpose. Some of it is so poorly, scripted out. You do have to wonder, you just don't care, do you? Is this the first draft? Is this the first run? And you said run it? And maybe.
Maybe he said, do it.
Do it.
We should end this podcast.
Alright. I think I can
This
do
is
that.
Raylo Unscripted. Creed save Raylo.
Creed
I don't know what this is.
Rise of Skywalker.
Apparently, it doesn't matter what things are anymore.
Final notes. Final notes. Would you recommend this movie, Mike?
I mean, I wouldn't recommend myself being kicked in the nuts. So, what do you think, Ray? What do you think I think about this? I said go see the Cats movie instead. Honestly,
I opened up at the beginning saying if you've actually seen 8 of these Star Wars movies, yeah, go ahead and see the last one. But
you might as well go see it just so you can dunk on it on Twitter.
Yeah, we could go see it, get the spoilers out of the way, and pay your $12 and never see another Star Wars property again, I guess. Except The Mandalorian. That is really good. Maybe that...
Go see it so you can make your fan fiction better. Please.
Or tell you what, I'm not going to, endorse pirating.
You know it's bad when a movie is so single-handedly not good that you're like, maybe I should get serious into writing and or reading fan fiction.
Yeah, when you're just like, you know what, I can do better than this.
Maybe this is the thing that does it for me. Maybe, I've been looking for more avenues for writing. Maybe I should write some fan fiction. And God, that hurts so much to say. I can't believe I just said that.
This movie is fan fiction, though.
Mother of good God on this holy goddamned earth.
Do I need to remind you how fan fiction this movie is when the main character rides away on Luke Skywalker's X-Wing carrying Anakin Skywalker's lightsaber.
That's the thing, is that this movie just... I can't write fan fiction of this movie because this movie just is fan fiction.
I can't. You cannot write fan fiction this up its own ass because it exists. And then she buries the two lightsabers of Leia, and Leia has a lightsaber of Leia and Anakin, and then says, "I am Rey Skywalker."
Fuck, we have to stop this. I can't do this. I'm going to go insane. We have to stop this right now. We have to end this.
It is a beautiful anime. Watch it as an anime. Go to the theater, watch it as an anime, and it's fine. I mean that. Alright. Let's sign off.
I think this movie was better than End of Evangelion. We have to end this. Never mind.
How dare you!
My name is Mike.
My name is Ray.
Good night.